Hello, my name is Angela, or Teacher Angela MM, and today I am going to talk to you about teaching CVC words. CVC stands for consonant, vowel, consonant, like these words: consonant, vowel, consonant. With CVC words, we focus on the short vowel sound, and we mostly teach these in level 2. However, we do a lot of repetition and practice in level 3, but also in level 3 we add an E to the end, so we have a CVC E, which creates the long vowel sound. It is very important that the kids learn a very good base for how to blend sounds together when they are in level 2, so they can be successful in level 3 and in reading. Hello, student. Please read. Socks. Fox. Box. Mox. With CVC words, we focus on the short vowel sound, and we mostly teach these in level 2. However, we do a lot of repetition and practice in level 3, but also in level 3 we add an E to the end, so we have a CVC E, which creates the long vowel sound. It is very important that the kids learn a very good base for how to blend sounds together when they are in level 2, so they can be successful in level 3 and in reading. Okay, on the last video clip, I showed you what not to do. So now I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I teach CVC words. I'm always on the look for something new, something exciting, or that I think is going to reach my student better. So I have two major ways that I'm going to show you how I teach CVC words to my students. So the first way, I use these little reversible marker boards that you can get from the Dollar Tree. They're great. They've got a handle on them, and you can go front and back with them. So whatever the blend is, in this case for my word today, as ox, I will write out. This is very similar to what you're going to see on the PowerPoint slide. I sometimes use the PowerPoint slide in the lesson, but sometimes I will only use it for this initial blended sound. I don't really use the PowerPoint much for the actual putting the words together. I just don't find it very useful. Some teachers like to use the little magnetic letters. That's also great, but be careful with the marker boards, like the one I had in the last part and the sort of like the what not to do video. The marker board was a little bit big, so it kind of covered my face, or even if it's sort of in front and you're still here, it still can cast a shadow. And it's real important that the kids can see your face and your mouth, because I need to see the sounds that you're making. So this is a little bit smaller, which is why I like it, and it doesn't really get in the way of my face unless I purposely put it there, which you don't want to do that, because that's not going to be beneficial for the student. Now the other thing that I use is these wet erase markers to write the blended sounds down. And so the wet erase markers don't erase. If you run your fingers over them, it doesn't erase unless you get them wet. And so it stays put, and it makes it a lot easier when I come over with my dry erase markers to put my CVC together to get them to actually blend the words after I've taught the blend and gone over the phonics sound. Okay, so this is how I would teach a couple of CVC words to a student. Ah, x. Good. Good. Ah, x. Good. Ah, x. Ox. Ox. Good. Ox. Good. Ox. Good. Good. S. S. Good. S. S. Ox. S. Ox. Socks. Socks. Good. Good. ox, ox, fox, fox. Good. S, s, ox, socks. Good. Ox, fox. Good job. Mmm. Mmm. Good. Mmm. Ox. Mmm. Ox. Mox. Mox. Yay! Good job. Okay, so notice that number one, the first thing that I did was I went over the initial vowel consonant, the second consonant sounds, and then I helped them blend the sounds together to get the ox. Now, for the CVC words, they're all the same in terms of the blended sound, the ox for us in this example. And so I have the letters, I had M, I did M, S, and F. And so I just have my flashcards laid out. And you can use whatever you want. If you have a smaller magnetic board and you use magnetic letters, you could do the same thing with that. Just make sure it's small and it's not blocking your face. But the key is that number one, you're going over the blended sound first. Then you are reviewing the phonics for the initial consonant sound. And then you are helping the student put them together. And so I always help them with the first time. It does not matter if I think they should know the sound. The first sound, the S, the F, the M, the first time I go over it, I always do the first time for them. Then I come back. I did go back and repeat it one time. I typically would go back and repeat it another time very quickly, just to make sure that the students have retained the information and the sounds, because they do make mistakes with their phonics sounds and we have to correct that. All right, so that is one way that I teach the CVC words. Stay tuned and I'll show you another way. Okay, now this way is actually my more preferred method. It's the way I like the most. I got it from some teacher. I don't know, it's been a long time. It's been at least a year ago that I saw a teacher mention doing this, and so I sort of stole it from her. So it's not my idea, so I don't get any credit for it. I just get credit for using it. So I teach the blended sound very much like I did on the last time. So I can use the screen. I typically don't like to use a marker board. I just think this is too big and bulky in front of my face. But I could use the screen wherever the blended sound is and go over the ox. Ox. So I would go over that just like I did last time. I would repeat it several times, drawing lines on the screen just to make sure that the kids understand. And then now I have no bulky stuff. I don't need flashcards. I only need one extra prop, and that is an Easter egg. So I use the Easter eggs for doing the blended sounds most of the time, almost always with the CVC and the level 2 students. And so once I have taught the OX blend ox, then I have the sound here. Ox, ox, ox. Good. Constantly trying to get the student repeat back to me using the proper TPR. So ox, very good. Then what I do is on the other side of my egg, I have the initial consonant sound. So I have my letters. This case, it's a B. So B. This part is gone out of view. B. Good. B. Good. Ox, b, ox, b, ox, box, good, box, good, very, very good. S, s, good, s, ox, s, ox. Socks. Socks. Good. 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 Box. Ox. Box. Ox. Socks. Good. Mmm. Mmm. Good. Ox. Ox. Mox. 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 Yay! Good job. Okay, so I use the Easter eggs a lot. The kids seem to like them. They're cute. They're easy. I do write on them with a Sharpie, and it's something that I very easily can do right before class. I just flip through the review materials for the lesson to see what the CVC words are, and then you can just write them on the egg. I do write with a Sharpie. However, I think it's just the fact that this is a very shiny surface. It does rub off very quickly, meaning I can use it in a lesson. I could probably use it for 2 or 3 days, but eventually it's just going to rub off, which is great because this one I've used for a couple times, but it's almost all gone. And that's great because you can just reuse them. If you want to erase what's on here, mine typically, I just rub it off, but just a little like rubbing alcohol will rub it right off, and it's no problem. And then you can reuse the egg for a different blended sound. I just bought a whole bunch of Easter eggs after Easter, and I just reuse them. I have tons of them. I also use Easter eggs, which I'll probably make another video for because I keep rewards and surprises inside of them for my students. So that's just something else that I do as well. All right, so that is how I teach CVC words to our students. It's very important to, number one, remember to review the vowel sound, review the second consonant sound, and then blend them together for the student and have them and you repeat it several times. Then I review the initial consonant sound. This is out of the way. Review the initial consonant sound with them a few times. Bring in the blended sound together, so don't split it back apart. Leave it together once you've blended it. And I have the initial consonant sound, the blended sound. Initial consonant sound, the blended sound. And then put them together. And that's how I teach CVC words. It's very important that you do this properly at the level 2 because they really are going to need to have those skills as they progress throughout the program at VIPKID. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.